The air above Los Angeles County is just filled with smoke still as crews battle multiple deadly wildfires, including some that have been burning for 3 days straight. At least 10 people have been killed and more than 10,000 structures destroyed. As of Friday evening, more than 300,000 people are under an evacuation order or warning. Now, the two massive fires, the Palisades Fire near Malibu and the Eaton Fire near Pasadena, they're still burning. The crews have started to make some progress containing the spread of those destructive flames. Fire officials are also responding to 3 other dangerous fires there, including the Kenneth Fire that sparked Thursday and exploded to around 1,000 acres. Meantime, city officials are coming under intense, increasing public scrutiny over the response to these fires, and that includes an evacuation alert that was accidentally sent out to all Los Angeles County residents on Thursday when it was only meant for people with homes near the Kenneth Fire. CBS News' Jonathan Vigliotti asked Mayor Karen Bass what she can do now to earn back the public's trust.
I want the residents of Los Angeles region to have faith in what we are doing 24 hours a day. That is our #1 job, to protect people's homes, to protect people's businesses, and to prepare to rebuild Los Angeles in a much better way. We're going to stand united. We're going to stand together, and we are not going to allow politics to interfere, and we're not going to allow people to divide us for political gain.
CBS News correspondent Tom Hanson continues his on-the-ground coverage. As you see on your screens, he joins us from Altadena now. Tom, I know that you've been bearing the conditions, speaking to people who've been evacuated and lost their homes. Bring us up to speed on some of the stories you've been hearing today.
Yeah, well, Errol, I can first and foremost say that after being around these areas for 2 days, seeing block after block after block of all of the destruction, it never ceases to leave me stunned when I'm going around these areas. You know, we've spoken to people who are growing frustrated. They are scared. You know, they see such a long road ahead of them as they look to what's next. They're not even really focusing on recovering. They're still focusing on the scope of the problem, just how much damage has been caused to their homes, and also what, if anything, they have left. And to give you an example of this, we're standing in front of what appears to be an apartment complex based on these 2 fireplaces that you can see. The only thing left standing are these brick columns. Everything else unrecognizable, indistinguishable, just a pile of debris, glass, nails, soot, you name it. In fact, it's incredibly disorienting to be around this area. The only thing we can see as a point of reference are the mountains over there, which on the other side, there still burns the Eaton Fire. And so you can see a plume of smoke even happening as we speak. There are still hot spots. Now, one of the things that's so fickle about these flames, if you want to take a look over here, you can see a row of buildings, one of which has highly flammable wooden shingles, would easily combust if an ember touched it, relatively untouched. Now the question shifts to, for the people who are lucky enough to not have damage to their buildings, the question is, what are they going to return home to? And what we do know is that local authorities are now saying that they are letting residents in this area back in for a one-time shot to retrieve any precious belongings, any important documentation that they may have left behind. But I can tell you from what I've seen on the ground, there are many, many more scenes that are exactly like this than the alternative, which is standing buildings. And so it's just a really tragic and shocking scene on the ground here, Errol.
And I think capping all of that, Tom, is the reality that the fires are not yet contained. What is the latest on their continued spread?
Oh my gosh, the fires just keep on popping up here and there, hot spots popping up here and there, and there is little to no containment in any of these areas. We are not looking at, you know, a 50% containment for any of these fires. We're looking at low double digits or even single digits upon my last look at the maps here. Now, what I can tell you is that the weather has been to blame for a lot of that. We've been facing those severe, strong, dangerous gusts of wind from the Santa Anas, which have prevented firefighters from tackling these flames. What we do know is that we're going to get a little bit of reprieve. Firefighters are no doubt going to be seizing on that opportunity to try to get ahead of these flames over the coming days, Errol.
Yeah, and those dry conditions just fuel for these blazes. Tom Hanson, we really appreciate your coverage. You and the crew stay safe. Now, as of Friday evening, CAL FIRE reports the Eaton Fire burning near Pasadena, California, is at about 3% contained. CBS News national correspondent Kris is nearby in Altadena, where the devastation there is also catastrophic. Kris?
Fire crews are taking advantage of a break in the winds here in the Pasadena area to mount an aerial attack on the Eaton Fire as it burns in the mountains behind Altadena and Pasadena. Also new today, we saw a much tighter security presence. National Guard in armored vehicles manning a perimeter around the evacuation area as the Sheriff's Department ramps up its patrols inside. They are looking for looters after nearly 24 arrests in evacuation zones where looters had come in and broken into homes that had survived the fire. Now, you can hear the helicopters as they are circling this area. Those are water drops. That is a crucial part of the effort here to try to make progress in containing the Eaton Fire. They have managed to beat the fire back from a key communications hub, a transmission tower at the top of Mount Wilson, the highest point in Los Angeles. That's good news. But of course, there remains concern as long as that fire is burning. If the winds come back, so does the danger. Back to you.
Kris Van Cleave, thank you for that.